Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge, and today we have Dolphins up close with Bertie Gregory. Now, if you already know who Bertie Gregory is, you know that he's a guy who sets out on these National Geographic, often sponsored, adventures and interacts with the nature and creatures, and especially here in the ocean. In this case, of course, dolphins are the focus, but they're not the only thing we get to see working together to basically feed. Now, normally we get, documentaries that cover all angles of the life of a dolphin, how they interact with each other, how they interact with predators and prey, and just maybe an understanding of what they are as a full-on creature. But this is very much about trying to capture them in their feeding process, where they work as a team and they try to capture and just eat mackerel in what they call a bait ball. What we call a bait ball, I don't know what the dolphins call it. I'm sure they have a name for it in their own little language that they use to communicate with each other, but we call it a bait ball, and now you do too. Basically, it's where they find a bunch of mackerel, and they, sort of cage them in. They sort of circle and sort of force them all together. And the mackerel, instinctively, in order to protect themselves, individually and as a group, realizing that somebody's gonna get eaten, but they can't eat all of us. So rather than separate, they all get together, tighter and tighter and tighter, keep swimming and swimming and swimming until they're just this ball of moving fish, and they are kind of forced closer to the surface where they get eaten. There's nowhere for them to go but down, and down is where the dolphins are. And of course, in this, it's not, like I said, it's not just about dolphins, it's about all the other creatures that are coming together to prey upon them. So maybe they should have called this the mackerel, how mackerels get eaten, but we get shearwater birds. They're called shearwaters, and they dive into the water and fairly deep, not a good number of feet, and they start picking off fish one by one and coming to the surface and flying away. So we got dolphins. We have shearwaters. We have at some point like other dolphins, like false killers. What's a false? In all my years of doing Disney Plus, National Geographic documentaries, I've watched a lot of shark documentaries. I've watched a lot of dolphin documentaries, and not as many as shark. A lot of shark. And whales, of course. There's dolphins they appear to be darker in tone, and they leap out of the water and do this kind of dive. They kind of mimic the actions of, say, a killer whale, which I think they tend to be a little bit bigger than these dolphins. But they're called false killer whales, and hopefully me saying that name so many times does not get this thing shut down for whatever reason. It's about whales and dolphins. Nothing seedy here, okay? So those come into play. Then there's, of course, blue sharks. Sharks had to show up at some point. And there's also minke whales. And at one point, in what I will spoil for you is the grand finale, a giant, which kind of whale? It's a big freaking whale. Sperm whales also make an appearance in this as well. So we kind of get a little peek at each one of these creatures, and while the team is, tracking them either by kayak or a little tiny inflatable boat that's well away from their bigger boat or land, putting them at great risk at losing a lot of things if anything goes wrong. They they jump into the water and use those fantastic cameras just to take a close-up look at each one of these creatures, how they interact and how they start to feed. And in some cases, the mackerel kind of outlast them in some of the dolphins. But eventually, things like storms and really delay their work by days, if not more than a week or so. And when it comes to the storm breaking, yes, I'm spoiling the whole thing. It's not a story anyway, but it's something to see. Me describing it doesn't do it justice, so you got to see it. If you have any interest in this kind of thing about all the stuff that Bertie Gregory does, and just nature, under the sea, how this all works together. And you get to see 7 different predatory species working together to eat mackerel. Yeah. It's just, and how they work together, not even just to get mackerel. There's some of those false killers, we get to see them take down a 400-pound tuna and then share like this humongous tuna, and then they start just biting off pieces. And then somebody else comes in and takes another bite, and like it's not, there's no fighting over it. One of them kind of holds it, swims with it. The other ones start taking pieces off until the other. I guess the last guy holding it gets the rest. I don't know, but it's pretty dang amazing that these are not just dumb creatures. These are intelligent creatures taking care of each other. That's kind of fantastic. So definitely, if you're into these nature kind of documentaries, it's only 44 minutes long, so it's not a multi-episode thing. It's not a 2-hour epic or anything else. It pretty much encapsulates the entire adventure in a 44-minute special, and that's what this is all about. So definitely check it out if it's your thing. It's, obviously it's not for everybody. Not everybody's into the nature documentaries, but it is fascinating to look at. It is gorgeous, and you get to see the passion of the people who take care of these things. There's even an interview with a guy who's, I think he speaks Portuguese. He spent most of his young life hunting whales in those same waters, and he eventually it was outlawed to hunt whales, and now these whales can come back. They can breed. They can raise their young in peace, and now this guy makes more in a month than he did in a year by hosting whale watching tours rather than hunting them to death. And I saw the thing recently. I don't know how it showed up on my feed on Facebook, but it showed that we have actually, over the last few decades, with the changes we've made in banning hunting and preservation and conservation of these creatures of certain waters around the world, have been able to bring back the populations of whales in an astounding way. So yeah, this is not just about dolphins. It's also about whales and how we interact with the nature, with nature and all the creatures in the sea. And it's kind of astounding how so many have been able to bounce back once we rein in our bloodlust a little bit. Not everybody obeys the kind of all the rules, but those that do actually profit more. So that's kind of a good incentive. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 40. 40. There we go. Okay. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of documentaries, a lot of reality shows. Disney Plus has dug into taking the reality shows from so many other networks, including like FYI and like this one I think is probably from FYI. I'm not sure, but channels that like my mom watches like left and right. She's like the house building, house renovation, house that's basically a haunted house, and now they make it into a gorgeous mansion kind of thing with shiplap or that kind of stuff. It's a lot. So there's a lot of these things. So you get reality shows about cooking, about people being too heavy. There's a lot of those on Disney Plus now, not through Hulu, but literally Disney Plus. Cooking, and this one's about a house. This is about house renovations. This is about not house hunting, not just house hunting. It's about house renovations. It's all of them together. It's House Hunters Renovation. And if you see that above that, it's House Hunters International as well. By the time I get to this quarter, I have a feeling that I'm going to be left with just documentaries, and I don't want that. I don't want to do like the last 3 months of my my series to be just like a month's worth of documentaries and reality shows. That is not entertaining to me or to anybody else. Because when you see something about dance moms, you know it's going to be about moms being awful to each other while their children cry for being screamed at by a woman who demands that they dance better. There's no insight I can put onto that. That's pretty much my every review of every spinoff of Dance Moms I've had so far. So in this case, though, we have a lot of house stuff. We had tiny houses for our 20s, our 6-year anniversary. Yeah, our 6-year anniversary, I believe. Or was it? I don't know. All my anniversaries are all happening at the same time. But this one, we're going to look at houses again, and we're going to look at them being renovated. We're going to watch at least one episode. I can't imagine having to watch more than one. House Hunters Renovation is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.